You thought it was a picture. No, it's a green screen. I'm officially a YouTuber now. Anyways, that aside, my name is Grant. It's nice to see you again. And I kept track of how much money I spent on all of my cars last year, just for your entertainment. So join me in reliving the pain and suffering my wallet went through last year to keep these 3 cars alive. Now, before we begin, I would like to preface this by saying I refuse to get a new car. New car payments, on average, on the day that I record this, which is April 16th, 2025, is $742, and that's like before insurance and gas and repairs as well, because new cars are not, immune to needing repairs. I want to see if I saved money owning these 3 cars and keeping them on the road compared to if I just bought a new car in January of last year. So let's compare, shall we? First on the list is a 2008 Subaru Outback owned by my wife and repaired by yours truly. This thing has 360-something thousand miles on it, and my wife has put 200,000 miles on this thing. I don't know how that's possible, but she's done it. I don't think I've put 200,000 miles on any of the cars, like all put together, that I've ever owned. She drives this thing so much. It is her baby, and it had some hiccups last year, but that's one of them. On to the next one. Next, we have my 2004 Subaru WRX wagon, the showrunner, the main icon of my channel, if you will. It has 260-something thousand miles on it. I've owned it for 6 years, and I bought it completely stock, and I ruined it. Anyways, this was back in Arizona for over half the year, so I really didn't get to drive it that much. My wife and I were back in Wisconsin for a majority of the year last year, it felt like. However, it didn't get a lot of miles put on it last year, so therefore, not a whole lot of stuff broke on it. So it really wasn't that much of a contributor to the pain and suffering my wallet felt last year. But I still spent some money on it, so we'll go over that too. And last, but certainly not least, is my 2007 Subaru Forester X. This is my daily driver, and it's my workhorse. There's so many videos of this car on the channel, and I've owned it since 2020. I bought it at 174,000 miles on it. However, this was the car that inspired this entire video, because last year, the expenses didn't stop. They kept going, and I kept track of every single dollar I spent. So we're gonna see if it was cheaper for me to maintain these 3 cars, or I should just go, buy a C8 Corvette from the Chevy dealer. Let's see. All right, well, first on the chopping block is my wife's Outback. In March of 2024, the drive shaft blew out. There was some horrible vibration coming from her car on our way back from Yosemite, which is beautiful. You should go there. I mean, look at it. It speaks for itself. Anyways, the vibration was horrible, and it turned out to be the drive shaft. I've never replaced a drive shaft, but honestly, not that difficult. But that was $350. Next, the Outback didn't feel like it was the center of attention enough, so it wanted to be a little bit dramatic. We decided to blow an alternator and a battery in the middle of Death Valley last year. That was a lot of fun. There's a whole video on the channel about it. I'll link it down below. It could have been bad if my Forester wasn't there. Anyways, we had to drive to Las Vegas. That was $520, but we were on the road the same day. So, all's well that ends well. It was just expensive. But we're not done yet. The expenses don't stop. Valve stems in June of 2024, $60. Brake pads, $90 in September. Climate actuator, her fans stopped being able to move like on the climate control. That was a fun time to repair. $75. Wheel bearing. I don't remember this. $112 though. Gone. Next, we have a filter and battery terminals. It's just wear and tear stuff. That was $40. And steel lug nuts. We had to get steel ones. The aluminum ones before were horrible. Don't get aluminum ones, just get steel ones. That was $21. So, now let's add it all up. So, to keep an Outback running last year, it cost $1,268. And none of these cars have car payments, by the way, so that's why we're comparing them. But $1,268, that's not even one of the repairs that I did on the Forester last year, so the Outback made it out pretty great, and it deserves a spot in the garage. Next on the list, we have my 2004 Subaru WRX wagon, the icon of the channel. The car that was stock that I completely ruined, but I don't care because I love it. This car only cost me $200 last year, and that was because I tore off my exhaust in the middle of an antique parking lot last year on a little trip. The WRX, only $200 for some miscellaneous exhaust stuff. I could have spent more money on it, repairing some things that could have been repaired. The WRX made it out pretty good. Now on to the fun one. Let's have a moment of silence for my wallet last year before we start this. All right, that's enough. We're starting off strong with a wheel bearing and a CV axle. $167. Tires and lug nuts. I blew a tire on a road trip, also on the channel. That was not fun, and I was a very grumpy man because it was like in the most picturesque spot. I mean, look at it. It was beautiful there. And then I got to go and I was like, oh my, that wheel looks weird. And it was blown. And then my lug nuts, I needed to switch over to steel lug nuts from aluminum ones. But that was $900. Calipers and pads, also in the same video, $130. An ABS sensor, $45. The motor. I had to replace the motor last year. A full long block, $1,600. Ouch. Also, that came with a rack and pinion at the same time, so that was $125. Next, we have more brake calipers because one of my brake calipers kept seizing all year. It was horrible. $90. And then I have another CV axle for $99. A random hose fitting for $4. All right, then we have rotors, brake pads, and brake lines. $180. I'm very thankful that Rock Auto exists. Rear toe repairs. Oh yeah, that was $80. I had to get 2 alignments after doing that, and that was $260. We're not done yet, hold on. And then I paid an extra $114 at the time to get a lifetime alignment with Firestone, which I regret. And last but not least, after I paid them money to get a lifetime alignment, I blew a wheel bearing in Texas, and I had to go to a Firestone. And this inspired an entire video on my channel. I'm just linking so many things. Anyways, I got stuck there, and for one wheel bearing, which, just to remind you, a wheel bearing and a CV axle myself in March of last year was $167. Just for parts, I installed it myself. A wheel bearing from Firestone was $861, and that was after I had to haggle the price down a little bit because they forgot that I had a lifetime alignment. It was over $1,000 at first before I reminded them to. Shops rip you off. I'll leave that video down below. Let's do some math and add all of this up. The total cost for owning a 2007 Subaru Forester with 240,000 miles on it is $4,595. That hurts to relive. So, now that we have all of our math done for all 3 of our cars, let's add them all up and then divide them by 12 and get an average of how much it costs to maintain and keep 3 rusty, semi-trusty cars on the road for 1 year. So, last year, I spent $505.25 per month to maintain 3 used Subarus. But that is almost 60% of your typical car payments in the US for 1 car. I think I'm winning. You may have cruise control in your car, however, I'm saving $250. You may have a backup camera in your car, but I'm saving $250. You may have Apple CarPlay, but I'm saving $250 a month. You may have more horsepower in your crossover family minivan type thing than I do in my 2004 sports car, but I'm saving $250 a month. Thank you so much for watching. I'm already recording a 2025 car price thing as well, so we'll see if I fare any better this year compared to last year. Hopefully there's no motor involved for this car. However, you never know what's gonna happen. Also, who knows what's gonna happen with the car market? Because it do be kind of crazy out there right now. But comment your car payment down below. Let's compare. And if you're part of the No Car Payment Club, let's go. It's a good place to be. Because remember, I'm saving $250. Make sure to subscribe. Okay, thanks. Bye.